Good morning from Vaenga Airfield. This is Firefly with the RAF 151 wing near Murmansk on the 10th of September in 1941. We are flying our next mission here after having been acquainted with the region on our first patrol. And today's mission is actually not so much about the mission itself, but about three new features which I want to present in this video here. The first is the new fog, which we just got in DCS with the last update here in December in 2024. You can see that in the distance there in the trees. I set it up for just a morning fog, which is slowly dissipating over the next hour. So we will have a look at this new fog, and I'm excited to see how it looks in DCS now. The second feature is about the campaign we are flying here, the missions. I spent a lot of time during the last months, couple of months, setting up a randomization of enemy, red and blue flights. That should make the whole environment here feel more alive. So yeah, flights will be spawned at random from our airfields or from the German airfields over the border. It's fighter sweeps, bombing missions, reconnaissance planes. So we will see what we encounter in the air, and I never know exactly what happens and when. Are there many flights in the air, or is the sky almost empty? We'll just see when we get there. So just how it had been in World War II. For this mission now, I will leave the messages on in the right top corner. They will pop up every about 6 minutes, I think, a message that a flight is being spawned or not. So we will just see, it's just for troubleshooting. And here already we see one of the spawned flights, the I-16s. Was it one or two? Yeah, two of them going on their fighter sweep or a little bombing mission, but they don't have bomb, it looks like. So this should be a fighter sweep. But on another flight, this might be just a couple of bombers or another airplane just taking off from here. Yeah, so this makes it more alive, I think. And one more, we have the Soviet air control here. I recorded some voiceovers here for the air control. I can demonstrate this. So when I'm checking in to go on my flight, I can just start this, and then the ATC comes back with a message for me. So Firefly checking in from ramp 151 for scheduled flight.
Reading you loud and clear. Continue with pre-flight procedures and check in when ready to taxi.
Yeah, so this is the air control. That should also be quite nice feature. So that's the third feature, and the fourth feature is a new planning tool that I'm developing to resemble the flight planning that they did in World War II and up until GPS became widely used. So just with a map, a plotter, a mechanical flight computer, all the calculating steps you have to take. I'm developing a tool that makes it a bit easier, and this is what I want to show you first. So let's head over to the planning room and have a look at the new planning tool. See you there. This is the starting page of the new planning tool, which I'm calling the Dead Reckoning Suite. I hope that's a fitting name for it. Yeah, every flight started with choosing the right map. For now I have prepared 3 maps. One is Normandy, where lots of World War II sim flying is going on nowadays. And what you get is a desk with a map, an aeronautical chart, a navigation plotter, which you can move around to measure distances and take bearings between departure and arrival point, destination. You have a mechanical flight computer that you can use to derive your ground speed and calculate time to target, for example. And this is a very basic version. I am developing this at the moment, so you can also do all kinds of unit conversions like the real flight computers. And then we have the notepad where you can enter all the numbers for your flight, and you can use the flight computer to calculate everything if you want to do so, but you could also just push the buttons here and that would calculate everything for you to make it easier. And while you are entering everything here, it also fills out your flight plan automatically. So this is the basic functionality. So, but we are not flying today in Normandy. So we go back to our map drawer. Just let me show you the Marianas map, which we fly on in DCS. So this is the original DCS map that we'll have to switch later for a map that I created on my own. I guess DCS is not allowing me to use their map, but should not be too difficult to make. So, but it's again the same. We have the map, we can move it around, we can zoom, we can use the plotter and calculate everything we need. We are flying in Murmansk or near Murmansk today, so we choose this map. So what we do here is we choose our part of the map that we want to fly on today. Just move the plotter out of the way for now. We are flying from Vaenga Airfield, which is nowadays called Severomorsk. And to make it easier, I'm just taking measurements from the town of Severomorsk, and we are flying to Litsa Valley, where all the fighting was going on, to around this area. Yeah, and I want to go just through the steps on how to make the flight plan and get to the flight plan. So first is we take our measurements with the plotter, and that's exactly how the pilots did it back then. So maybe here we can also use the mouse to move it. So maybe like this. We're flying like this from the town to Litsa. It's about 33 nautical miles. So let's enter this. Enter 33 miles here, and it already down here in the flight plan, the distance is automatically updated. We are flying from Vaenga Airfield to Litsa Valley, and again it's appearing in our flight plan. Now we have to get the course which our plane needs to fly, and for this we have to put the center of the protractor on a meridian which is in the middle between our starting point and our destination point, our target area. And you can see on the original map here the meridians are here, these black lines. And I have also drawn these red lines here. So this is a bit of a, how to say this, compromise. Normally a pilot would use these meridians here, put the center of the protractor on the meridian and then read the heading here. So when we fly in this direction to the left here, we would measure 300. Here is 310. So maybe 306 degrees would be our heading, our course. But sadly, DCS, where we are flying today in DCS, the meridians do not coincide with the real meridians. It's what I read, because the DCS world is calculated on a flat Earth, and these maps, of course, try to represent the round Earth. So there's this discrepancy between the meridians, and when you measure the meridians and headings on the DCS map, you also see this discrepancy. So I have to draw the DCS meridians onto the maps. But if I would fly this in Microsoft Flight Simulator, or maybe also in the IL-2 Sturmovik, then I could use these real meridians. But today we are flying in DCS. That's why I'm measuring here. So it says here it's 290, 300, so that would be 296, 297 would be our course. Let's say 296. So let's check this on the map in DCS. So this is the DCS F10 map. Here is the town of Severomorsk. We are flying way over here, and maybe you cannot read it very well, but in the middle of the line it says 296 degrees is the true course, and the distance here it says 34 nautical miles. So it coincides quite well. So we can take the measurement from our map if we want. But if you are in doubt, you could just use the in-game map like in DCS or in Microsoft Flight Simulator or in IL-2 Sturmovik. Take your measurements and then work with these numbers. But they work quite well today. So we have the most basic measurements taken, distance and the true course. For dead reckoning flying, also the temperature is important. Today I think it was 8 degrees or 5. We'll have to check this. 5 degrees centigrade on the ground. This also affects temperature higher up, which affects air density and then also the airspeed at which our airplane is flying. Next is, how fast do I want to go? Normally a pilot would have looked at the airspeed indicator, the indicated airspeed which you read in the cockpit from the gauge. And in our P47 today, the gauge is reading in miles per hours. And if I want to set it at 200 mph, I have to convert this in knots. This you could do on a flight computer, not on this one, but I will implement this. I plan on implementing this in the future. But if you just want to convert this, just push this button here and you get 173. If you fly at a higher indicated airspeed and you convert this, you get, of course, a higher speed in knots. But today we want to fly at 200. That's 173. Then this indicated airspeed is converted to calibrated airspeed and equivalent airspeed, which depends on the pitot tube and how the airflow in the measurement in the tube is converted and measured, and there's some error involved. And this needs to be converted. I don't know if DCS is doing this or in Microsoft Flight Simulator in IL-2 Stromovik. For now, I've just set it. It's just the same indicated airspeed and calibrated equivalent airspeed. Let me know in the comments if I need to adjust this here for any of the simulators. Next, what is important is the altitude. The higher up you are flying, the thinner the air is and the faster the airplane is flying due to the decreasing air resistance. If we want to fly at 6,000 feet today, we just enter this number and then we convert it, we get the temperature at this altitude based on the temperature on the ground. If we would fly at 20 degrees centigrade, this is a little bug in the program to change this. Now you would get, of course, a higher number, and in the Arctic in winter times you get very cold temperatures, like minus 20 degrees centigrade. And then, of course, at altitude you would get even colder temperatures, and this also affects then your true airspeed. So today I think we are flying at the outside air temperature is 5 degrees centigrade. So at altitude it's minus 7 degrees centigrade. And this is all the information we need, altitude and temperature, to get the true airspeed. That is the speed at which the airplane is flying through the air. So we observe a indicated airspeed of 200 miles per hour on the cockpit gauge, but actually our airplane is flying at 186 knots through the air. Next comes the wind correction. If we know the wind, like it's, for example, I would set it to, it's coming from 20 degrees at a speed of, let's say, 15 knots. Let's put it a bit higher. This would mean if we fly in this direction here and the wind is coming from 20 degrees, it would hit our airplane a bit from the front and from the side. And that means it is slowing down our airplane, just not by much, but a bit. And it's pushing our airplane to the left. So we have to correct to the right, and exactly how much, this is calculated for us. We could use the flip side of the flight computer. And again, I plan to implement this as well, so you can see how it is done mechanically. But for now, it's just calculated for you. We have to steer our airplane 5 degrees off course to the right to compensate for the wind drift to the left. So the new heading is not 296 degrees plus 5 actually, with some rounding. Here it comes up to 300 degrees. We have to steer the airplane at a heading of 300 degrees, but this is the true heading. So, but we already know the ground speed, 183 degrees, and so we can calculate our flight time. It's about 11 minutes. And for this we can already use the flight computer as well. Ground speed is 183 knots. If we set our flight computer to 183, so this is 2, so we are here at 3, 183 knots. It also shows it here. And we are flying 33 nautical miles, 1, 2, 3. Then we need 10, here's 11, so yeah, so this is about this 10.8 minutes, so it's 10 minutes 50 seconds plus minus. Next, also what we need to observe here is the magnetic variation. We can see this on this map here from 1960, I think, that the magnetic field around Murmansk does not coincide with the true north direction, but yeah, just takes these funny curves. And yeah, just yeah, we see this already also on the DCS map when we are in mission. Where's the compass rose? Here it is. When you take the compass rose and you put it in the area where you are flying, then it shows you the magnetic variation, and it shows you the magnetic variation for this year. So at 1941 it was plus 9 degrees. Here you can see that another flight has been activated, just at random. They are flying here. Obviously they are fighting blue and red here. So, but later I want to deactivate all these markers, so I really don't know what's going on. But the important information is magnetic variation is plus 9 degrees. We enter this. So it's to the east, 9 degrees. And this has to be subtracted from our true heading. So we have to fly at a heading of 291 degrees to get from Vaenga, Severomorsk to Litsa Valley. And with this, we have all the information in our flight plan, which we need. Actually, all these numbers we don't need during the flight. Only what is calculated here. We are flying at an indicated airspeed of 200 mph for, let's say, 11 minutes at a compass heading of 291 degrees, and we should arrive at Litsa Valley to do our patrol, maybe drop a couple of bombs if we find enemy. And for the return flight, we just change the numbers for the heading. Distance would be the same. The reciprocal heading of where we came from, the course, of course, and then push all these buttons again, and we would come up with our return heading for our RTB. So this is the tool. More we don't need. I would just take a screenshot of the flight plan, put it in a PowerPoint maybe or somewhere else, and use this during the flight. Again, I only need these numbers. So I will go and set up the mission again, especially the wind, which we chose here. And then we, I think, are ready to fly the mission and see if we actually arrive at Litsa. So see you then in the cockpit for takeoff and conversation with the Soviet ATC and see what the new fog looks like. So see you there. Vaenga Air Control. Benedict 1 checking in on ramp 151 for scheduled flight.
Benedict 1, this is Vaenga Air Control. Reading you loud and clear. Continue with pre-flight procedures and check in when ready to taxi.
Copy. Benedict 1, proceeding with pre-flight.
Request refueling. Request
Copy.
rearming.
Copy. Refueling complete.
Air prop.
Rearming complete.
Benedict 1, requesting permission to taxi to runway 32.
Benedict 1, you are now permitted to taxi to waiting zone short off-way traffic.
Copy. Benedict 1, taxiing to short of main runway. this is Benedict 1, requesting permission to take off from 32.
Benedict 1, you are cleared for takeoff from main runway. I repeat, you are cleared for takeoff.
That Benedict 1 taking off. After the Russians and join up with me on our rendezvous area near the harbor. Over. some LE2s in the area. Quite a busy day over Vaenga. There you are. Initial heading 291 for 11 minutes. Starting now. bombs away. Did some battle damage. RTB, I repeat, RTB. opposite direction, simply ours. Not. Roger. Benedict 1 landing on runway 32. 2 and 3, prepare for landing. You are free to land on your own and leave formation. I repeat, you are free to leave formation and land on your own. landing. Respect the crosswind from starboard. Repeat. Respect crosswind from starboard.
So let's end our flight about here. How did you like the 4 new features? First, the new DCS fog that we got with the last update. I think it is very nice, adding quite a bit to the atmosphere. How did you like the Soviet ATC? Programmed it in a way that it also checks the taxiways and airspace before giving taxi permission or landing takeoff permission, and that worked quite well, I think. How did you like that? Write it in the comments below. I can get back to you and we can have a discussion maybe about it. Next thing, the new planning tool, the Dead Reckoning suite. The flight plan worked quite well. Didn't check on our return leg, but to target, the first flight leg went quite well. We were on course, on time. And the new planning tool should make it just easier to make such a flight plan for the Dead Reckoning method. And lastly, the randomized action in the air. You saw some other flights just there in the distance. The bombers are preparing for takeoff. Let's turn this off. Video anymore. All these flights are triggered at random. They have their own flight paths and targets, so maybe these here are taking off to bomb the Kirkenes airport or Vaenga Airfield. Maybe they go to Litsa or somewhere else. If it is just one plane, it could be a reconnaissance flight over the sea. Always nice to look at airplanes taking off, landing. Just in the right corner up there, upper right corner, you see BCAP 2, that's blue. CAP mission number 6 is starting. Combat air patrol for a patrol over friendly territory. And we have 7 groups in the air at this moment. For now, just for bug fixing, I have these messages coming up, but later they will be deactivated, of course, in future missions, so I don't know when flights are taking off, etc. It might be a busy day or a quiet day. There's also the number of flights that is activated is also just determined at random. Track IR fooling around. Yeah, so we might encounter some enemy fighters in the air or not, or a single reconnaissance plane, so that should also add to the atmosphere and make the airspace feel more alive, which it does, at least for me. Yeah, so if you have any comments about this, just write them in the comments below, and I think that's about it for today. I had lots of fun preparing these missions, this mission, and flying it in the end. Also the AI wingman behaved quite well. I think they have not landed yet. Let's see if they do, but I'm not waiting with the video here. The next video will just be a mission, maybe a reconnaissance or bombing mission to one of the enemy airfields. Looking forward to it with all these nice graphics and new features in DCS. Should feel quite realistic. Well, at least for a simulator. That's it. Firefly signing off for today and hoping to see you in the next one. Bye bye.